Hola. Bueno, buenas tardes a todos, bienvenidos. Lo primero es disculparme, que es mi primer clinic, o sea que soy novato en estas lides. Lo que sí que quería agradeceros a todos y a cada uno es que hayáis venido, porque bueno, ya sabéis el tiempo que hemos pasado con pandemias, etcétera, etcétera. Agradecer sobre todo a Hall Music que siga apostando por tiendas y que tengamos todos tiendas de rock and roll. Agradecer a Sester y a Ryan que ha venido el apoyo que nos da y los pedazos de guitarrones que tenemos. Y luego, sobre todo, al único e inefable Nick Johnston, que nos va a tocar el alma. Luego, antes de irnos, que sepáis que allá a la entrada vais a tener encima del flight case unas hojas que vais a firmar todos si queréis, o sea, que la podéis coger para que os la firmen. Y luego, cuando acabemos todo, mi compañero Moisés de marketing va a subir para sortear las guitarras. ¿Ok? Chicos, rock and roll. Nick, dale duro.
Bonjour. Hola. How many of you guys, show of hands, English is good? I hope. I really, really hope. Japanese, did you say? Let's see if I can do that one. Give me a second. Ohayo gozaimasu. Konbanwa. Madrid. I got it. It's great to be back. I haven't been here since before the pandy. So thank you very much for coming into this event. It was a beautiful day. You know, I went for a patented fucking 4-hour lunch with somehow 2 bottles of wine and grappa. I don't know how you guys do it and get anything done. And you're all standing. It's amazing. But I felt really at home today because we were walking around and I saw the Canadian Embassy. I saw Tim Hortons. Can't believe it made it all the way out here. Anyway, so you have me up here telling bad jokes for about an hour or so. And then after we'll do a signing and a photo sesh, and you can get my sweaty forehead in all your photos. And we'll do more Q&A. But usually the way I like to do this is I play a couple songs and then answer some questions. And there are no bad questions except, of course, you know, what pick do you use, what strings do you use, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't matter. But I'm just going to play some songs with my new model, if you guys can see that there, the beautiful Atomic Fire. And I think it should be over here, buried behind the stool, my other model, the PT, which is very exciting. So, guys, thank you so much for coming out on a, what is it today, Thursday night when you could be at home watching Netflix. So thank you very much. Gracias. I was like, fuck, what's the word again? I'm gonna do one more and then we'll do some, we'll get intimate, we'll get real, we'll bare our souls to each other. And just to be prepared, I'm willing to give whoever asked the first question this disgusting, sweaty guitar pick. So I want to see them hands flying in the air. Anyway. Here we go. Thank you very much. All right. So who has a question? Anybody out there has a question? Anybody at all? Yes.
Well, I'm afraid that I'm not such a good guitarist, but I have a very good question that so many people is wondering. What hair conditioner do you use?
Well, actually, what am I using right now? Shit, what am I actually am using a really nice conditioner. Guys, I've been in the industry for, let's see here, 11 or 12 years, making records, releasing albums, selling guitars, and I can finally afford a nice conditioner. I actually can't remember what it is, but my wife picked it out for me, and she knows best. Although, right now I'm just using, I call it Spanish sweat from the sun. This is also, I achieved this look from sitting on a train all morning and then wearing a hat all day. I can show you what it looks like with that. Oh my God. Wearing a hat makes everything much more manageable. I'm not going to give you the pick for that because that was not, yeah, I'll give you the pick. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? Who else has one? I can't see, so. Yes. Oh yeah, there's that to contend with. You don't have to do that every time. You don't have to do that.
Sorry, man, I don't want to make you deaf or anything like that.
Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you, do you favor having a humbucker in your bridge position rather than a single coil, or do you switch them accordingly depending on what you're playing or what you're recording, or what's your take on having like an HSS or an SSS or SS configuration in your guitar?
Yeah, well, I spent most of my guitar playing life, I guess you'd say, using 3 single coils. A lot of that was because I didn't really know any better. When I first started playing guitar, I was a pretty young kid, 14, 13, something like that. And I just thought that that was a guitar. I looked at my favorite players, growing up, and I'd see videos. My dad was always, watching. I mean, he would always watch the Woodstock video, like of Hendrix performing. So, like that's electric guitar. Then I'd see Jeff Beck and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Yngwie, et cetera, et cetera. And it was always that look. In fact, I think if you look on the emoji for the guitar, I think that emoji has 3 single coil Seymour Duncan Antiquities in it, or Nick Johnson, anyway, the old ones. But I did that for so long, and that was the sound I had really kind of chased, which ultimately was a little bit of a lie because the guys I thought were using them weren't using them. Jeff Beck and Yngwie, they were using the noise canceling ones, so they're technically humbuckers. I was like, you motherfucker. So I did, let's see here, 6 albums with single coils. I just thought it was time for a change. And I got sick of dealing with this. But, without that, you don't achieve that nice single coil sound, so it's a fair trade-off. I remember the one moment I had kind of decided that's enough was I did a guitar clinic a couple of years ago in you guys know what a speakeasy is, like a hidden bar in Edinburgh in Scotland, and the power was so filthy that the 60 cycle hum was louder than the actual amp. And I was like, there's gotta be a better way. So I was playing, I'd play something that I'd finish and end in the split position, then I'd go back and then end. So I got really good at that, but I don't know if that's a transferable skill too much. So I just decided to switch over to humbucker, and currently I'm really, really enjoying it. It's kind of changing the way I play a little bit. I'm not, flicking. I used to flick. I was like a pro flicker at one point. So I'm just kind of keeping it in the humbucking. That's there. Humbucking position for now. I like to change always. I had a beard for a long time. I don't have a beard anymore. Now I have a hat, You know, now I'm wearing flared jeans like Michael Ackerfeld. So it just depends on which psychotic version of me you have for the year. So right now we're on humbucker version of Nick. Yeah, there's no better. It's just different, you know. Anybody else? Question?
When you use modal chains, like stealing a minor or major chord for a relative minor or major tonality, you do it because you like the sound or constant?
Check. Okay, so first of all, guys, don't hit the mic. That's no good. Can you ask the question one more time again, please?
When you use chords of relative minor or major tonalities, you do it because you like or you are conscient about it?
I'm trying to piece that together. I still don't really know what you said, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Okay, so I think what you're asking is why am I using the certain tonalities and maybe how I'm using them and do I like them, which kind of answers itself. But okay, so most of my music, I would say 99% of it, there's the odd chord shape here or there. That's kind of from vanity. Like, you know, I'll use something like this. Instead of an A minor, I'll go, which I don't need to do that. Most of my stuff is just triad-based harmony. So pretty much if I have an A minor, like A minor kind of harmony or a minor chord function, it's usually just a minor chord. And the reason I do that is because I like to imply lots of different stuff over one thing. The more you add to, I'm just going to bore you guys with some theory here for a second if you don't know. The more you add to a chord, the less you can play over the chord, of course, right? There's more information in it. The less you can kind of cross over between different scales and keys. Okay, so if I'm playing like an A minor, you know, with a 9 in it, I can no longer treat that as Phrygian or something. Or if there's a 7 in it, I can't treat it as harmonic minor or melodic minor. And I already have, at least in my existing music, I have piano playing chords, I have acoustic guitar playing chords, I have dirty rhythm guitar playing chords, and then I'm playing over top of it. That's a lot of just instruments fighting for the same space. So I like to keep it as simple as possible. Sometimes even just playing A minor like that or A minor like that. And then it just kind of opens up, you know, just the possibilities for what I want to play over. Like if I want to play something that has a 6 in it, instead of playing, you know, a chord that has like, I'll just go, and it all will work pretty seamlessly. And that's just from experimenting. You know, I know a lot of guys that prefer to use big, wide chords with, you know, lots of intervals in them, but I find it sometimes clouds up the song or just becomes too much, and I'm giving away too much. I like to maybe lead the listener with a melody that's maybe outlining those things. So if I had an A minor, you know, maybe my first note's going to be an F sharp, which is kind of using a 6, a 7, and a 9 over this, because then I could go like, no, you don't have to do that. It's okay. I'm just saying, why are the monitors gone? What happened? Are they gone, or is that just me? Are they gone, or? Yeah. So by just keeping it simple, I can apply that stuff all day long. Even playing like flat 5 stuff. Sometimes it'll just be a root. So then I can have. Okay. Mr. Sound Guy, just on or off. Pick one, please. Thank you. So like I can literally just have. then I might go major. So I just keep it as simple as possible. That way, I can do anything I want. Cool? Okay. Anybody? Let's do a couple more. Let's see if he taps the mic. Let's see what happens here. Here we go. Taking all bets. Will he tap the mic? Don't tap the mic.
Oh, Lolita.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not you. What's going on? I'll get you next. I'll get you next. It's okay. It's okay.
Hi, Nick. How do you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally to be able to give meaning and impact to the public in your compositions?
How do I prepare myself mentally and emotionally? Well, every night I have a routine. I cry for an hour in bed. Could you imagine? Just fucking in bed, eating chocolate, just crying. Is he lying? No. You know, I don't really. Let me have a sip of water and think about that for a second. 1 second. Okay, I'll be honest. I'm a pretty sensitive guy to begin with. My wife can back that up. I cry regularly, honestly, and I'm man enough to admit it. What if I just start crying right now? Just my mascara just running. No, I am pretty emotional. I'm the middle child of 2 brothers, and just things were weird always, and I was always the emotional one, the outsider, the left-handed weirdo. And I locked myself in my room my entire teen life, and was very introverted, and was extremely insecure, and guitar was kind of a way for me to battle that, I suppose. And I realized that really early on. I didn't try to suppress that because, it helped. I knew it was going to help. The better I got at guitar, the more I learned, and the more comfortable I got with the instrument, the more my self-confidence kind of grew. So just by playing the instrument, I was constantly developing as a human being, which, contrary to what my parents thought, they just heard me up in my room trying to play Paul Gilbert licks. Paul Gilbert made me an emotional person. No. Thanks, Paul, wherever you are. The other thing, too, is I'm just always, and I mean always, I'm always just working on music. I don't have any hobbies. I really don't. I really have no hobbies. I don't play sports. I don't really hang out with anybody. I have a couple friends, but they're also musician friends of mine. My wife's an artist, so she's the same way too. We're just very open with our feelings and stuff. And I just kind of grow as a musician. I'm working constantly. That's the mental preparation. That's the emotional preparation. I'm just doing it. I'm not going to stand here and say I'm like some perfect musician. I will probably make a whole bunch of mistakes tonight. I've already made a bunch. Have you caught them yet? I've made a whole bunch tonight. I'll continue to make a bunch just to prove that. And to prepare sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Center, and let's try it again. To do these things that I'm doing right now, to come up and stand in front of a room full of people that I've never met before, maybe I've met 1 or 2 of you before, is way harder than making a record. I write music constantly. It's a muscle I've exercised very well, and I can just do that. But the hard thing is, packing my bag, leaving, my wife and the cat, my sweet cat, leaving them behind and coming into. That's where you have to develop that, and that's just, I've been lucky enough I've been doing this for years now, 7 or 8 years, this clinic stuff. And you kind of develop an armor for that, and I do mask a lot of it with really, 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 really bad jokes, But it's a process, I'm working on it constantly, and I didn't think I would enjoy that. I thought it was always going to be a struggle my entire adult life, working as a musician. But I'm really enjoying it. And I don't have kids, I'm 35, no kids, so I'm just focused on me and music. So it just happens automatically. Yeah, honestly. You at the front. Let's get you, then I'll play some more music. Can we bring the mic up to White Hat, please? Or Beige Hat. Sorry, I'm going to confuse you back there.
Hi. We have a couple of questions from the YouTube channel. Okay.
Okay. You get shafted again, my friend? Okay, I'll get you next. Okay, YouTube, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of people saying, who do you consider the maximum, guitar player in the world? You know, who's been your most important guitar player for you?
Sorry, say it again?
Who's been the guitar player who has influenced you the most in your career?
I wouldn't say there's one. It's kind of a collection of a lot of different people, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's the same shit everybody else liked. That's my age. It was Yngwie, Eddie Van Halen. It's the same name, Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know, Joe Satriani. Now I like. I've had a chance to work with. I like Andy Timmons a lot. He's great. Actually, it was really. Shh, please, guys. Shh. I hear everything up here. Even though I'm blind, I can still hear. I had a chance. It was really cool. Several years ago, I did a performance with at the NAMM show. It was with it was myself. Somehow I got on this bill. I'll never figure it out. It was me, a guy named Mark Lettieri. Do you guys know him? Yeah. Okay. Andy Timmons. I'm assuming you guys know him. And a guy named Andy Wood. And I got to just do a gig with them, and we had a big jam at the end. And it was just really cool to see, you know, those three guys. They're both so great, but so different, but a similar approach. I learned a lot from that. I got a chance to share, which seems kind of silly, but I got a chance to share an amp with Andy Timmons. Him and I were just kind of talking about tone, and you know, I was just plugging right into it, and then he'd plug right into it, and it was just playing the same amp and the same gear, but hearing such a drastic difference. You know, I think anybody that's developed their hands and has good vibrato and good timing, and is kind of really aware of melody and phrasing and their tone, and you know, these two things are really awesome. Like using your tone knob and your volume knob properly. I love that. I like people that are playing the guitar, like just like really playing and controlling the instrument. I like that, and that's a hard thing. That's a level to get to. That's really, really difficult. I'm on my way. I'm not quite there yet. I like that kind of stuff. Technique is like, I mean, Guthrie Govan exists. Yeah. So like, who gives a fuck about tech? You know what I mean? It's like, he's got it all. You know, and you know, it's like, what are we doing here? So there's that. But I really like when a person has kind of developed. You can kind of hear their voice. You know, you can kind of hear their. Do you guys? There's a really great guitar player. I think he lives in where's he living now? Atlanta. Do you guys know Emil Wurzler? Anybody? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Emil's he's one of these guys. His personality comes out in the guitar when you meet him. He's like talking really fast and like, going crazy, and then you see him play guitar, and it's like the exact same thing. It's like, oh, that's his personality in the instrument. You know, you meet these people, and they're these great. I've been lucky enough to meet really great guitar players, and you hear their personality on the instrument. It's a wonderful thing. So I like that kind of stuff. You know, technique. I've seen, you know, kids in Japan that are like, I don't know, 2 that can outplay all of us. So like technique's cool and everything, but there's no steel in the walls, if you know what I mean. There's got to be more. So anyway, yes. Oh, here we are. Yeah. We made it, guys. Round of applause for White Hat. Okay.
All right. So
what's up, buddy? You better have a. What if he's like, what strings do you use?
No,
I'd be like, you
like that.
motherfucker.
I really like to ask you, how do you get that tone in your guitar? I mean, the process to get that thing for yourself that is the right one. I mean, if you take influence from other guitar players or something like that, how do you feel with that?
There's an easy answer and there's a long one. I like to do both. The easy answer is just practice. It's just time. How old are you? Yeah. Okay. So keep going. Keep going. Just keep playing. Just keep playing guitar, and you know what's a really good way to develop a tone? Here's another easy answer. play in front of people a lot and fuck up a lot because, sorry, I keep swearing. There's a kid in the front. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I won't swear anymore. Keep playing a lot live and do a terrible job and go home at night and like hate yourself. Be like, I hate myself. That's a really good way to develop tone because you fix it every time you do that. I've done lots of that. That's if I put out a book, that would be the first chapter. Anyway, the long answer is I grew up with no money essentially, and I had to use one guitar and one amp for a very long time. And I had a Squier Bullet. You guys have heard of that guitar. And I had a Fender Frontman 15R. It had reverb. And it was used. I remember it had somebody had traded in. There was paint all over it. I was like, this thing's a hunk of crap. I didn't swear. And that was my rig for a long time. And I just kind of, at 14, 15, 16 years old, playing that. There was no gear reviews. I just played the instrument, and I just, when I made a mistake or sounded really bad, I figured out how do I fix that. I learned how to dial in the amp the way I like. I used to do all sorts of weird stuff, like I had a really long cable once. I bought a 25-foot cable, and because why not? And I remember the house I grew up in, you could get to the basement kind of quickly from the floor above. I would put the amp in you guys have probably done this because you're all weird like me. And then you go and listen, you play downstairs, you're like, I wonder how that's going to sound. Oh yeah, I like that with there's not so much top end. So when I go and play the amp, I'll roll. I used to play another amp brand. It wasn't this one. I'm not going to say the other one, but I used to roll all of I had no treble in the amp. I would just, and it sounded awesome. And that's just because I learned to do that at 14, and I was using that amp a couple years ago. And then it was getting into playing really, really loud. When you play loud, you guys know this too. If you're playing in your bedroom, okay, so here's like what everyone does now, with the internet and stuff, is you have your room, you get your ring light, you get your camera, you get your tea, you get your little snack, whatever you got, I don't know, cookies or something. You got your plug-in, and you're like really comfortable, and you've had 8 hours of sleep. And you're really happy, and you got the perfect sound. And you're like, this is exact. And it's like quiet, and you're plugged direct. That's a sound that it's not real. You go on stage, and the amp's super loud, and the drummer's like cymbal is causing you to get tinnitus, and you have to develop a tone that's gonna live above that, but sounds good with the band, which is not easy to do. You have a really great sound with no band. All of a sudden, the band starts playing, and your tone sucks. So you have to learn that, and all of a sudden your hand changes, the way you play changes, the gauge of string you use, everything just changes. So it's all about putting yourself in positions that are maybe not overly comfortable, using gear. Like I've done clinics all over the world. I've done clinics early on in China where I show up and they have an amp for you that has a broken distortion channel and a pedal that has no battery in it. And you go, how am I going to do this? And you figure it out. So it's that process of just pushing yourself and being okay with being uncomfortable, because that's how you kind of develop. And I'm going to use a really, at least in North America, it's a really cheesy saying, but diamonds are made through pressure, of course. And that's what I'm talking about. It's just that process. Okay, I'm going to play some more music now. Thank you very much for the questions, guys. Those are good. All right. Okay, so I'm going to play, what am I going to play? I'm going to play a song off a record I put out called Wide Eyes in the Dark, where I had really started to put the guitar aside and play a lot of piano and synthesizer and keyboard and stuff. And I used, speaking of tone, I used an amp that I'd always wanted to use on this record. I used an old, I'm not going to say the brand, but you'll know what I'm talking about, an old Plexi, like a really, really old one that was, it sounded terrible by itself until you cranked it up, to, in the room to where even in the studio you could hear it outside. And it just got me some really cool results. So the song's called The Cure Promised. I might need a little more monitors, but I'll let you know, okay? Just a bit more, please. Oh, yes. Thank you. It always feels good to get through that without breaking a string. That solo, it's like beating the crap out of it. Okay, a couple more, and then I'm going to play one more on my beautiful new model. So let's do a couple more questions. Anybody have any unfinished business with me? You, sir, right in the middle. Hand went up first. Yeah.
Lovely guy. Hi, Nick. You have a big change from the Remarkable Humans, my amazing job, my favorite one, to the young language. That is a really different one. Speaking about your recordings.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I hope that's a
And
compliment.
can you just tell us a little bit about why this big change? Because from before Remarkable Human to Remarkable Human, there is a small difference, but there is a huge difference from this one to the young language. And of course, I am pretty curious about the history, about the concept of the young language. If you can tell us anything about that, would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. I guess I could use the microphone I have in front of me. That's a great question. Well, let's see here. So, Remarkably Human came out in 2016, and it's 2020. When did 21 it came out. I mean, 5 years is a long time. You know, you think back to just not. This isn't exactly the same trajectory, but I said that wrong. Trajectory. You think about you not playing guitar, and then 5 years into your guitar playing, where you were. Not just you're playing, but the music you liked, the person you were. Maybe you were an asshole, and then you were a nice guy. I don't know. The people you hung, everything. 5 years is a very long time. At least it was to me. Even the way I wrote music, I used to write everything on an acoustic guitar or a piano. What's going on with this strap here? Shout out to this company, Black Dust, who sort of derail you for a second. I did a clinic at this event last week, I think it was. It's all blending together in Montreux, Switzerland. And I said, because I was using the same strap for both guitars, damn, I need another strap. So after the event, the woman at the company just went, here you go. So it's coming in handy. Thank you. Yeah, so you think about the difference of 5 years, right? It's quite long. And I had released, up until Young Language, whatever, 5 or 6 records, and then I did one with my other project where I sing, called Archival. And I wanted to bring that into my music a little bit. So at the time, the whole idea of doing nothing but instrumental music felt very constricting, kind of like a really tight pair of shoes. You know, you put those on and you're like, this is not going to work. So I had to try that. And I was writing totally different. I was writing, I had some nice synths. I was writing with piano. It was kind of during the pandemic, so I was just thinking differently. And then I met a really cool piano player on tour years ago, a guy named Dave McKay, who played with, you guys know Art Garfunkel from Simon and Garfunkel. I met the piano player from his new project, and he just played on everything. He has a grand piano and a felt piano at his studio, and he's just unbelievable, just so talented. You should look him up on Instagram. He's great. So he played all the piano on that, so it was like that became, to me, I wanted to really showcase that. And just, I started to dive a little bit deeper into harmony and simple melodies. There's a song on there called Whisper. I mean, that's like the most naked, it's like the most dry, just plug right into an amp sound. But I've really been craving that. In terms of the engineering and the studio, I mean, it was all the same. I used the same guy, Scott Giffen, same studio. But just I had changed, different tone. The things I wanted to maybe express. I'm really into fantasy and science fiction and all that nerdy shit. I love it all. So I was always just trying to one up what I'd done in the past with that in mind. I'm going to play a song, not off that record, but a song that I had thought I had captured the ultimate vision of that with my music, a song called Wide Eyes in the Dark, which I'm going to play in a minute. And, you know, writing Young Language, that song to me that was like the new apex to try and kind of, you know, get past. And I've since written another album, which is fully instrumental, which will be recorded this fall. Anyway, I think it's the same thing with tone, like White Hat was asking. What's your name, by the way? Okay, I didn't hear that properly. Like White Hat was asking, and it's the same thing. You have to change. I think because I'm independent, I don't have a record label breathing down my neck. It'd be weird if it's breathing down. That's gross. No one's telling me you have to do this. This is going to be successful. Get this out. I don't really, and I mean this in the nicest way. I don't. Truly, I mean this in the nicest way. I don't care what any of you think. So I just kind of do my thing, and if it does well, that's great. That's bonus. But I think it has to change. It has to evolve. And for better or worse, some people might not like it. Some people might prefer the older records. I've had people say to me, "I wish you'd go back to doing songs like In a Locked Room on the Moon or Sand Monster and stuff like that," which is cool. But I already did that a long time ago. So it's just all about moving forward and kind of looking inward sometimes instead of at what everybody else is doing, you know. And the singing thing, that's going to be it's going to be around. I finished another album with my other project, which will be out this fall as well. Where, you know, Ben and I, the other guy in the band, we both sing on the music, and I think that's a really kind of cool attempt at sharpening another sword. I'm not where I want to be even close. I don't take lessons. I really should take lessons. And judging by some of the comments that have been left, I really should take lessons. I love, actually, this is kind of funny. I remember I put out a little thing saying, "Hey, I have a new album. I'm going to be recording it." Someone wrote, "You're not going to try and sing again, are you?" I was like, oh. That's why I don't read the comments. But you just got to do it. If it feels like that's what you have to do, then why deny the little artistic, the little guy living in your head that, you know, that's the person you should be trying to please is that version where it was like, go back to the original vision. Anyway, what a great way to end it. That was a great question. Guys, thank you so much. I'm going to play one more. Let me just tell you real quickly about this guitar. This is my new model from Schecter Guitar Research. It is, as you can see, based on a Les Paul. No. It is kind of based on the T-type guitar, the PT as they call it. And it's got a humbucker in the neck and a single coil that we designed together. 3-way master tone with a push-pull. And I keep this one, let's see, tuned down so I can play Wide Eyes with it. And it's a beautiful instrument. So anyway, thank you guys once again. I'll be hanging around after if anyone wants to say hi. I have some CDs for sale and all that good stuff. And thank you for having me, guys, and thank you for coming. I hope to be back again next year. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Thank you, guys.
I'm coming. Gracias a todos, gracias a Nick, ha sido espectacular. Como os decía antes, dos cosas, recordad, bueno, tres, venga, va. Tenéis tarjetas ahí encima de un rack a la entrada de la escalera, ¿ok? Que la podéis coger para firmar, con lo cual dejaremos un pasillo aquí y esta zona. Y ahora va a venir mi compañero Moisés para sortear las guitarras. Pero antes, vuelvo a dar las gracias a Secter, Nick, sobre todo, Hall Music Unión Musical, por permitir esto, a Humberto, Carlos y José, que es la plantilla de Leturiaga, y a mí mismo, Miguel, ¿ok? Porque creedme que detrás de todo esto hay mucho, mucho trabajo, y son muchas horas y mucha energía. Pero... ese fondo... aduladores, que sé que queréis las guitarras. Venga, va. Moisés, vete para acá. Un aplauso para Moisés, que también se le ha currado muy mucho. Y se me olvidaba, a la gente del streaming, que también se la han currado, y ya veréis lo espectacular que han quedado las imágenes en YouTube. ¿Ok? Paso a Moisés.
Bueno, mientras mi compañero Miguel va por las guitarras, agradeceros otra vez a todos, también a Nick. Thank you very much, Nick. It's been a pleasure to hear you, listen to you. Y bueno, como decíamos, sorteamos, como sabéis, dos Schecter C6 Deluxe. Una de ellas la sortearemos entre todos los que estáis aquí hoy. Por eso os hemos pasado lista ahí arriba, no era simplemente porque quisiéramos tener todos vuestros datos. Y la segunda de ellas la sortearemos entre todos los miembros del Planeta UME. Como sabéis, el Planeta UME es nuestro club de fidelización. Por pertenecer a él tenéis muchísimas ventajas, quizá la principal de todas ellas. La principal de todas ellas quizás sea ese 2% en todas vuestras compras, no solo aquí en Leturiaga, sino en todas las tiendas UME. Y por supuesto, pues otra de ellas es que participáis siempre en todos los concursos que organizamos. Hoy son 2 Schecter, pero han sido cajas, han sido equipo de audio, etcétera, ¿no? Entonces vamos con ese primer sorteo. Estáis todos numerados, ¿vale? Cada uno de vosotros tiene un número asignado y yo estoy aquí con una aplicación de estas maravillosas que nos da Google Play Store, en la que he metido un número mínimo 1, número máximo 76 personas que hemos pasado lista arriba, ¿vale? Vamos a darle al resultado aleatorio y ahora os diré quién es el o la afortunada. ¿Me sale publicidad?
Más publicidad.
Tachan, tachan. Y el afortunado o la afortunada es el número 24, que es Félix G. Félix Gómez, me sale su correo. ¿Lo tenemos por aquí? Enhorabuena. Félix, ¿unas palabras?
Me van a matar en casa. Otra guitarra más.
No, pero esto ha salido gratis, joder. No tienes que mentir de que te ha costado menos de lo...
Que me da cuenta, que me da cuenta.
Claro, nada, pues oye, que la disfrutes mucho. Ahora te damos su caja también para que te la lleves y nada. Procedemos con el segundo de los sorteos para que Yannick pueda firmar sus tarjetas. Muy bien, pues un aplauso para Félix. Este sorteo es un poco más difícil porque, bueno, hay que congratularnos de alguna manera porque ya somos más de 2.500 miembros del Planeta UME, entonces las posibilidades bajan considerablemente, pero bueno, a lo mejor incluso le cae a alguien que está aquí en la sala también, porque puede ser. O sea, sé que muchos de vosotros sois del planeta. Tenemos concretamente 2.572 participantes. Me dice que si quiero... A ver... Muy bien, está en ello, está en ello, está en ello. Número 79. Joder. A ver quién es. Igual nos está siguiendo también en streaming. Hemos tenido bastantes personas. El número 79 es Fabián Jaramillo. ¿Hay alguien que se llame Fabián Jaramillo por aquí? ¿No? ¿A la 1? ¿No? ¿A las 2? Bueno, pues a Fabián se la enviaremos a casa. Gracias, Fabián, si nos estás viendo desde algún lugar, por tu fidelidad. Y al resto, pues esperamos veros pronto. Muchas gracias otra vez por venir. Hasta pronto.
Hola. Vale, lo dicho, chicos. ¿Tenéis las tarjetas en el flight case? Me dicen por el pinganillo que se abra aquí una fila así, rollo Moisés. A ver.
Yo si queréis os ayudo, ¿eh?
Tiki. Perfecto, a ver. Podéis coger, no seáis tímidos, ¿eh? Pero tranquilos, que va a ir para todos. Tranquilos. Por Dios. Take it easy. Se dicen las luces. Cuidado. Bueno, en principio vamos a filmar y es que si hacemos fotos va a estar todo el mundo haciéndose fotos y vamos a tardar en eso. Yo te diría que... ¿Quién es tu marido?